All right, guys. Hi, I'm Julie Powers. For those of you guys that don't know me, so when we were at Summit, it was over a week now. For those of you guys who have not been to Summit before, it's kind of cool because they break it out into a big, I guess, general session. They call it. I'm a meeting planner, so the lingo I use is like a big general session. And we were at the what was it? The Lucas Oil Stadium. Forget that. Is that the name? And they do, like big high level topics, and they had a motivational speaker come in and talk, and they had the CEO come out, and they had like the top coaches come out and do very high level, strategic things. That's where the product launches were happening. But then during the day, on Friday and Saturday, that we go and we do like smaller sessions. And these are still like thousands of people, but they have coaches that come and they talk about, some of the really, really big topics that are going on that people want to hear to grow their businesses. And so everybody who was there, we all, for the most part, we all were together learning about these sessions and learning about the breakout sessions. And a lot of the conversations in the breakout sessions revolved around Instagram in some way, shape, or form. Are growing your business, how to find your target audience, how to do things, how to find your tribe, how to talk about things without always talking about being a Beachbody coach, that kind of thing. And so I was originally, when I put this little thing together, I was originally going to talk about what they talked about. But what I started to realize about it was that a lot of what happens is they tell you things high level, and then you go home and you figure out how to apply it. And for me, I just sometimes want people to tell me like what they got out of something, give me examples, and then maybe I can replicate it. And what I keep hearing from people is, so the topic I'm going to talk about tonight is how to grow, how to find your target audience. And I kept thinking, okay, how can we make the next like half hour, 45 minutes, the most, I want everybody to get the most out of it. And I want you guys to be able to say at the end of this call, okay, like I know what to do now. And so what I decided to do was very, very quickly talk about the session, but then I put together what I think is going to be awesome for you guys. Because at the end of this call, you're going to have like 15 or 20 things that you can look back on and know what to post about and know who your audience is and know who yourself is. So what they talked about was finding your brand, right? So we're all CEOs of our own company now. And whether it scares us or not, we are our brand. Like we are not necessarily Beachbody's brand. We need to figure out how to take the products that Beachbody has given to us to market and how to get them out to our people in our own way. Because we all know, and for some of you guys who've been around for a little while, if you're constantly just taking Beachbody's pictures off of their website and throwing them up on your Facebook page, we all know that most likely is not going to be what sells something. We all are taking our own journeys. We're talking about our own things. We're talking about each other's, and we're sharing each other's journeys because that's how people are going to relate to us. And so we need to figure out, each of us needs to figure out our own brand. And that kind of scares me a little bit because I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Like, tell me what that means. And so one of the things that these two women, I forget the name of the speakers, that this one woman talked about was, there is a woman out there that's created, and for anybody that's kind of grown up in the corporate world, if you've ever done like the colors wheel before and you figured out what color you are, or you figured out like I'm a yellow, for example, or I forget the animals, I'm a golden retriever. So if you grow up in the corporate world, sometimes you've done the personality quizzes and you figured out who you are, but you also have figured out who your coworkers are. And the whole point is to be able to work better with each other because you now know why someone is how they are. And they actually did this at the Beachbody convention. This woman, this awesome motivational speaker stood up, and she divided the group up into you're either a circle, a square, or a triangle. And based on your personality and all these questions that she asked us, you stood up. And we had a blast with it because she was dead on, and she didn't talk about all the positives either. She talked about the negatives too, or, the truth. And so it was kind of fun to figure out who you were in that way. But the woman that spoke, she talked about this quiz. And I didn't do slides tonight because, to be honest, it made me really anxious to put together really cute slides. So if you have a notebook, just grab a pen and paper, because I think you might be taking some notes tonight in a good way. But if you want to take this quiz, it's called the Fascinator Quiz. And the website is howtofascinate.com/you. And I'll post that in the group. And the code is Beachbody, because it's not a Beachbody made quiz. And you can go and you can take it. And my whole goal tonight originally was we all were going to take it together. But the information that came back was very high level. It was, Julie is outgoing. She is good with people. She doesn't necessarily listen all the time. And all these things, I'm like, okay, that's great. I know this about myself, but how do I apply that to find my target audience? Like, I need more than that. So for anybody that wants to take this quiz, go to howtofascinate.com/you, code Beachbody, and take that quiz. But what I wanted to do for the next little time was actually do a fun little exercise in figuring out. So when I think of how to find your target audience, that's kind of a big deal. Off the top of my head, that's a really big question. It's a loaded question. And when I really, really think about it, I think how you find your target audience is finding yourself first. Like, who are you? Because that is who you're going to attract. That's your audience. So what I want everybody to do, and again, I think what happens is a couple months into this business, we post about our journeys, we talk a little bit about ourselves, but we don't talk a lot. And you kind of run out of things to talk about because you feel like you're always posting about your workout. And you're like, I don't want to get stale. I don't want to annoy people, or I don't want to always just be talking about my weight loss journey. And what I've come to learn, especially through Instagram, is that when you start to figure out your brand and you start to figure out who you are, people are attracted to you for a certain reason. And it's usually because of something that you post. And so one of the things that I was taught a couple months ago was choose 5 things to talk about on Instagram and Facebook and kind of stick to those things. And it's been working for me. So what I've decided to do is I've decided to blow it out a little bit. And so if you guys can write down, so I want you to write down, let's see, 1, 2, I want you to write down 6 things that are basic facts about you. Not what you want people to think about you, but for example, my facts are, I have 2 little boys that are 3 and 5. I'm female. I'm 39 years old. I live in Virginia, but I'm from Boston. I'm married. I have an 85-pound golden retriever, and I have my own meeting planning business, and I travel a lot for work. Those are my facts. So if you guys can write down 5 facts about yourself. Oh, and I'm on a health journey. That should have been number 1. But just take like 2 minutes and write those facts down about yourself. Not necessarily like hobbies, more because we'll get into hobbies in a second, but more straight up facts. Does anybody want to read their facts off?
I'll read mine.
Yeah, go, Kara.
All right. I am a mother of 4. I've got 3 boys and a girl. I am a female and 42. I'm proud of every single one of those years. I work full-time, 36.1 miles from home, but who's counting? Got a small farm, and I am from Boston, and I live north of Atlanta.
Didn't know you're from Boston. Woohoo! Awesome. Awesome. Anybody else want to go?
I'll share mine.
Go for it.
I'm a farmer's wife. I'm 31. I'm a female. I'm on a health journey, and I live in Cali, but I'm from Azores Island.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Does anybody need more time? Cool. And one thing to think about, and we're going to get into why I'm talking about this, but one thing to think about is also think about facts on where you are today. So for example, Brooke, she just had a baby. So where she is right now is very different than where she was even 6 weeks ago when she was pregnant. Because when you start to think about who you are, that's going to help you figure out how you're going to post and who you're going to be talking to and why. Okay, so the next thing, this was sort of like out of my comfort zone a little bit, but write down 3 things you want people to think of you. So for example, it doesn't mean that you have to be good at it. I want people to think of me when they need kid-friendly recipes. I'm not there yet, but I want people to think of me. I want people to think of me when they think of a mom that's trying to keep it real and not like sugarcoat and not like have the Stepford look down. And I want people to think of me when they want to lose weight. Those are the things I want people to think of me. And this is a little bit harder. I thought so. I don't know if you guys do.
Those are good. Can I just have yours, Julie?
Yeah. Yeah. And it doesn't have to necessarily be just about weight loss or, health or nutrition. Like, what are some other things that you want people to think of you? Like and it kind of ties into a hobby. Like, I love home decor, but I'm not very good at it. Maybe I want people to think I'm good at it. You know what I mean? And let me know when someone has a couple. Kristen, do you have any? Oh, you're on your phone. Sorry. Very busy.
I do have some. Hold on, I have to answer this.
No worries. Who else has?
Julie, I have one. One I've been trying to do, and I feel like by trying to make other people think that, it's actually making me feel it more. But I want people to think that I'm totally comfortable in my own skin. You know what I mean? Like this whole self-love thing. I'm really on that right now.
Yes. Yes. Well, and that's the whole point of this, is that when you want people to think of you as something, it makes you like, I have to post more kid-friendly recipes if I want people to think I can post kid-friendly recipes. So I think it starts to change like the mindset. That's perfect. What else? Mandy, what about you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My first one was living my best life with genuine confidence, because I feel like I fake it a lot. But I want it to be real.
Yeah.
And then I put children, education, reading, and then that's as far as I got.
Perfect. Those are good. Those are really good. Anybody else want to go?
I'll share. So I said I want people to think that I'm funny and inspiring at the same time, not like, here she goes again, but funny while I do it. I want people to think of me when they need help on their fitness journey, and I want people to think of me when they need a business solution or a way out of their current life situation.
I love that. And you're really funny, by the way.
You are funny. Thanks.
Kara, what about you?
So I don't know, this one was harder. So I want people to obviously think of me when they need help or advice about nutrition and fitness, kind of based on real experience, and kind of the experience of, I've done the yo-yoing thing before and sticking with it. I want people to feel like they can come to me when they want mom advice that's really real. Yes. Yep, 4 kids. And also I want people to want to come to me for help with natural alternatives to things. So we focus a lot on sustainability and just natural before chemical stuff.
Awesome.
So the natural, like granola crunchy angle.
Yeah. No, and I think this one is this is the one that we don't necessarily focus on because we're not there yet, or maybe we're there in a few areas, but we're not necessarily there yet. But this is where we need to push ourselves out of our comfort zone a little bit. So, and my whole goal for this call is that if you guys are taking notes and writing things down on what pertains, how this is affecting you, my whole goal is that you take a look at this when you're stumped on a post, or you don't know, you feel like you don't want to talk about working out all the time, you come back to these things, because this is how you're going to find your target audience, because this is you. And people sign up with you because of you, not because of Beachbody, because of you. Like something that you've said in one of your posts, or something you put on your Instagram story, or some hashtag you've used has made someone relate to you. And so you're starting to figure that out. And I'm literally talking to myself as I'm talking here. Like, I'm not an expert, but what I'm finding is the more I stick to these things, the more consistency starts to show, and people start to reach out to you about the silliest thing, but because you've talked about it a couple times, you're now starting to be that person. Okay, so then the last thing is, the last little project is list a few fun hobbies that you like, or that you like to do. Like, for example, I love paint colors, and I love home decor. I love the ocean, but I also love to take drives and look at mansions on the ocean. When I go back home to Massachusetts, I drive my husband crazy because I'm like, let's just go drive and look at rich people's houses on the ocean. I just love to do that. And so write down a couple just fun, silly hobbies. They don't have to be spending time with my kids, or, just fun hobbies that you guys enjoy. Because we all know we love to spend time with our children. Right, Graydon? But buddy, I'm talking on a call right now. I will come read that in about 20 minutes, okay?
Perfect timing.
This is the book. Let me see that. This is the book he wants me to read. It's hard to be 5. It's hard to listen. You can say hi. We're working. Hudson's mom's right there.
Hi, Grace.
All right. So who wants to share some of their fun hobbies? Erin?
Well, I haven't shared yet. I can share.
Yeah.
I like photography, but I don't do it very often, and I don't share it very much. So I need to get better at that. And I like going to the beach, and I like watching TV. I'm a couch potato.
Awesome.
Total couch potato. I love
What's
TV.
your favorite show?
Big Bang Theory, probably, right now. So I like the sitcom comedies. Even if they're dumb, I like them because they're not real life, I guess. You can just lose yourself. It's like my whole day is so serious, so then I can just laugh and laugh at other people.
Exactly. That's a post right there. There's lots of TV watchers out there.
True.
Who else wants to share some hobbies?
I love sewing and embroidery and all things crafty. So I like all the Pinteresty crafty stuff. I love to read, and I like to write also. I love blogging, probably because I like to write. And I also love doing Reiki, and I wish I had time to do more of that.
Kara, I want to follow you. You just have so many cool things. I love it. What about Amy? What about you? You've got some fun stuff up in your neck of the woods.
So I did vegan and veg curious cooking and recipes. I have a blog, so I do writing on that and photography of that. Most of it is food related. Concerts, we go to a lot of concerts every year, so that's a big part of our life, especially. And then I have a lot of crafting. What is now my gym actually used to be my craft room. So I have a lot of stuff assigned to all of that. I just don't do quite as much of that anymore.
Right. Is it something that you want to get back into? Like, do you really enjoy it?
I still make stuff for people like on an as needed basis. I just don't advertise it like I used to.
Got it. Awesome. Okay. All right. So we have 3 buckets of areas. We've got our basic facts about ourselves, which is where we're going to pull from the most. We have 3 things that we want people to think of us. It's kind of like 3 things I want to get stronger at. That's how I look at it. And then we've got our fun hobbies. And these can change all the time. Like, these can change once a week, or they can change as you have a baby, or you get a new job, or you've lost all of the weight that you wanted to lose and now you just want to talk about maintenance. Like, it doesn't have to be forever. And so when you start to think about, oh my gosh, like, I feel like the only way to sell a challenge pack is to talk about my nutrition and my workouts. No. Now you actually have something else to talk about. For example, today I posted a picture of ice cream, cookies, and sprinkles, and I intentionally did not write what I made. Most people could conclude it was an ice cream sandwich, but I intentionally did not write what I wrote, or I didn't write what I made. I just said, an awesome 4th of July idea. Kristen posted and said, post the final picture. I got 4 people that sent me a private message and said, oh my gosh, are those ice cream sandwiches? What a fun idea. 3 of those people are now thinking about challenge packs, because I posted something as silly as ice cream. But what happened was we started a conversation about, like, oh my gosh, so great to hear from you. These ice cream sandwiches are so easy to make. The kids love them. The adults love them, blah, blah, blah. And then all 3 of them, I actually monitored it because I wanted to see what they wrote. All 3 of them said something about my weight loss journey, something about, I love your posts, or I see that you work out a lot, or something. And I got to then start talking about it because of my consistency with posting about my workouts on a regular basis that had nothing to do with that post in that moment. So you have to, like, ice cream sandwiches is going to sell a challenge pack. You know what I mean? So you have to think of it as all the things that you're doing in your life is going to relate to someone that's going to want to reach out to you about something. And if you're consistently talking about all the things that we're supposed to be doing about the workouts and the nutrition, that's going to naturally come, because people are going to naturally start to think of you about health, even when you're posting about something that has nothing to do with it. Does that make sense a little bit? Okay, so now back to our basics and our facts. So if you take a look at your 4 or 5 things, I want you to make a few bullets underneath them. So for example, the female one, I'm going to ignore because most of our target audience is going to be female. But let's take, I live in Virginia, but I'm from Boston. So if I were to make 3 bullets under there, what are some things that I could talk about? Some of the things I could talk about is that, what I like to do a lot is I like to talk a little bit about the weather. I can't stand the summer down here. It's hot as crap. It's because I'm a brat and I miss the ocean up in Massachusetts. That's really the problem. So when I talk about the weather, I try not to be super negative about it, but I do say, like, I love the Virginia fall, I love the Virginia spring, but I really miss Boston in the summer because I miss the ocean, I miss getting lobster rolls, I miss my friends, I miss my family. And it starts, and I start to talk about those kind of things. I also am able to talk about sports. If I'm from Boston and it's baseball season, I talk a little bit about the Red Sox. When the Patriots were in, when the Patriots didn't win the Super Bowl, but when they were going for the Super Bowl, I was talking about that, or with Tom Brady or whatever. That created a lot of negative feedback too, because people hate the Patriots and Tom Brady, but that's okay. That's fine. It created conversation. And so start to put some bullets underneath some of your facts. And the kid one is super easy too, because you can talk about ages. So like, Kara, if you've got 4 children, you can put their ages down as a bucket. And for example, I have a 3-year-olds. 3-year-olds are like little mini terrorists, right? All the things that they do, they pee all over the floor. They don't listen. They, so start to put things into buckets underneath your bullets, because those are the things that you're going to pull from when you want to do your posts. This is going to take a little bit longer, so feel free to, let's just take 3 or 4 minutes just now, but you can keep going after we do the call or later on in the week. Does that make sense? Does anybody have questions?
No, can you tell me again what exactly we're supposed to be doing?
Okay, so tell me 2 of your facts.
My facts. Where's my list? Hold on. Mom, health and fitness journey, corporate ladder chaser, woman from Virginia.
Okay, so let's do mom. Okay. So Ryan is 6. Or how old's Ryan?
6.
Ryan's 6. Emily's 4.
Yep.
And Molly's 6 weeks. Adorable, right?
Right.
Okay. So what I'm trying to get at is things that you can go back to post about. So what are some things that Ryan is into, and what are some things that are driving you crazy about him?
An attitude problem. Not listening. How about that? That is what I should post about. Not listening, and how to get your kids to listen.
Yes, and some of you do that. You do that sometimes. You've done like the behavior
chart. Yes. Okay, Julie, I love this call, by the way.
So that's what I'm trying to pull out, is like things that you can talk about based on what you're literally living right this very moment. That has nothing to, obviously the fitness journey is going to have everything to do with Beachbody, but that has nothing to do with Beachbody. And Emily, something, you don't have to always talk about all your children on every single post. You can pull one out, because my whole point is that someone might be reading your post and being like, the same exact thing is happening with my 6-year-old. And they might message you and ask you a question, and you can start a conversation. It's all about building that relationship, right?
Love that.
A lot of people, so I travel for business. I'm a meeting planner by trade. People think it's like the most glamorous thing ever. It's really not. I'm usually in a meeting room most of the time, but I do get to go to cool places. And tons of people reach out. Like I went to Alaska for 50 hours. And I talked a lot about it because I had so many people that were like, oh my gosh, I've always wanted to go to Alaska. What's it like? And that started so many conversations. So that's one of, when I notice that something does really well, when you notice like a wacky post, like an ice cream, sprinkles, and cookies can get a post, you should hone in on what other things you can do to mimic it in a different way, because the craziest things, the people reply to the craziest things that you never think are going to happen, right? Sunny, is this making sense?
I don't have a problem with coming up with ideas of what to post.
Awesome. Lucky.
And I'm getting lots of reactions and my video snippets. I have 1,200 views. It's wild. So I can't make any sales. So I don't know what the missing link is. I had a nice chat with Kristen the other day. We came up with some ideas.
Are you reaching out and talking to the people?
Yes, ma'am. Some by phone, some by actual, like really on the phone, and some of it's but chatting. So, and I sent out tons of carts, and they say, oh yeah, I really want to do this, but they don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
I've even offered a coach discount. I would pay the enrollment fee. So I just keep plodding along.
But you're making some sales, right?
I did a little bit in June. Yeah.
That's the hard part, is it at the end of the day, in addition to all the hard work we do, it is kind of a numbers game, right? Like if we were in a sales job in the corporate world, you have to get 7 no's before you get 1 yes for just about every single thing that you're selling. And this is really no different. So it's so hard and it's so frustrating sometimes because these people, like, I love when they're like, yes, send me the link. And then it's like crickets.
Right.
Just keep plugging away, because if you're doing all of this right and you're getting all of these views, you're clearly showing that you have consistency. So it's more just a numbers game for you. And also, do you know, now that you're doing this so well, like, do you know who your audience is because of all this work you're doing? Like, do you know the kind of people that are replying back, so you can say, okay, my audience is between this age and this age?
Yeah. And I can track which group they're coming from, because I go back to my group, and it's either the Weight Watchers group, or it's the vegan group, or it's the laughter group. So I have my pockets.
Right.
So I have to share this. It's really a funny story. Some friend, I don't really know her, but she's just one of my 1,900 friends, did a live video. So I popped on. I was curious, what does she have to say? And at 7 minutes in the video, she mentions me about what an inspiration. And if you haven't seen Sunny's, it's like, holy crap. I didn't even comment that I was there. I didn't send a heart. I was just listening quietly. And she gives me all of this recognition. So, of course,
that's awesome.
Sure. I know. It's like, that was free.
maybe one part of it could be is that they view it more as like a free. Maybe they think like you're more offering free stuff. Like you're adding.
I haven't done a free group in maybe 2 or 3 months. So, and I've been inviting people to join my challenge, my support group. And when they find out they have to buy something to get into that group,
right?
It's like gone.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really hard, but it's only the 2nd of July. So
it's only the 2nd of July.
Post about this being a business for you, whatever you've made. Do you ever post like something that you've done with it? Something that makes people really see that this is a business. You're not just doing this for yourself.
I haven't done that. I haven't mentioned to anyone what my commission is, or the fact that it's paying for all my products, and stuff.
I think you should start to do that.
Right. Even if you and Ben go out for dinner, like we went to a play tonight, or we went to a dinner, like how fun that my last commission check paid, that my last Thursday paycheck paid for that.
Yeah.
So that people really kind of get an idea. Because I kind of agree with Julie. Everything you post is such good content, but you're so passionate about it and it comes so from your heart that I don't know that people are realizing that you are taking this seriously as a business. I think it seems more like a passion project.
And that's probably why you're getting resistance when you go to say like, oh, I'm so excited for you to join me. Here's the link and this is how much it costs. People are like, oh. Like I think Erin's right. I think just try it. Just try it for like a week.
No, that's good. I guess I haven't, maybe I feel a little self-conscious that I'm doing this for money. I think I haven't.
Well, are you?
Yeah.
Are you?
I'm sorry?
Are you?
Am I self-conscious about it?
No. Are you doing this for money, or are you doing it, I know that there's that's a loaded question, but is part of it to make money?
For now, it's to cover all of my stuff, my shakes.
So that's what you talk about.
Yeah.
That's what you talk about. And you don't have to talk about it every day. But
I've never talked about it, so I need to do it at least once. Yeah. I haven't done that, so that takes me out of my comfort zone.
Just a little bit. Bit. Like you don't have to go to the the whole left side and go crazy. But just try it and see what comes of it, because you might not necessarily, and back to some of this stuff, you might not necessarily get the comments that you want at that particular moment when you post something, but you're breadcrumbing things, right? You know, like by posting about everything, you're breadcrumbing things. And there are some people that don't want to talk about everything in their life. Maybe they're a little bit more private about certain things. That's okay. This is not to talk about every single thing, depending on what your end game is. If your end game is to be keeping it real as a mom like me, I'm throwing some of that mom stuff out there because that's my end game.
Okay.
So I think, you know, just breadcrumbing things, and that's, hey Ben.
I go on heads up that this is live.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good stuff, Julie.
And what I had something popped into my head right before I jumped on the call. Like, I forget what I wanted to say. But sometimes, do you guys get frustrated when you feel like you have like a really good post up and you really don't get much on it? It drives me crazy.
And it may not be your fault at all, because it could be Facebook's algorithm and all that kind of stuff going on outside of your control. Totally.
That's true. But do you ever find, and every once in a while, that someone you're talking to later references that post? Like, and so I'm not
talking for a minute.
No, I'm not going to stop talking. Oh, that's beautiful.
But what? I saw someone put it in the trash.
I didn't put it in the trash. Oh my gosh. So sorry, Graydon just found some things in the trash. Like a drawing. So I guess my point is that something doesn't get lost on everybody, you know. And when you post when I post, I'm kind of down on myself, like, oh, why did I even post that? It seems to come back around. And so just because we don't, you know, get tons of comments and tons of likes on it, or like I'll look at a post and I'll be like, Sunny liked it, Kristen liked it, Kara liked it, like all my beach
the coaches, right?
I loved it, but like nobody else liked it. And I think the flip side is true too, is pay attention to what is getting attraction, because it might have nothing to do, you know, like Kara, if you're talking about, talking about something with the kids, like your mason jar salad. But if you guys have not watched Kara's mason jar salad stuff, like she needs to hone in on that, because that is getting so much traction. And we even talked about today on Messenger, like maybe possibly inviting some people over to our house, and Erin had an awesome idea, like everybody bring an ingredient that she tells you to bring, and you bring your jars and you make your salads for the week. Like hone in on what is working, and maybe start to take out what's not working. Like Christy, if you like a fun show like Big Bang Theory, because you're working all day long and you're exhausted, I bet you're going to have like, you're going to have those Big Bang Theory people out there, and you can message them after they've commented, and you can be like, what's your favorite episode? And then maybe they can reply. And then you start a conversation. Like hone in on that kind of stuff, because you found your people, like you found your audience when you get people that are talking about the same things you are. So that's pretty much what I had planned for tonight. It might not necessarily like all resonate right this second, but what my goal was for everybody, including myself, was for me to now have 30 things to talk, 30 things listed to either A, when I run out of things to talk about, to post, and to B, like to recognize this is your audience. Everything you just wrote down, that is your audience, because that's who you are. And so I believe the next topic we're going to be talking about is Instagram hashtagging and stuff. So I thought it would be a really good introduction, because now you know who your audience is. Hashtag all of this stuff. And now you can actually apply it after, I think, is it Susie that's speaking next week? I'm not sure who's speaking, but now you have all this stuff so that you're not just sitting on the call being like, oh, I wish I had some hashtags. I don't know. You know yourself now. You've got this all. So I'm hoping that this information kind of moves with us to the next session. And
so I have a question about the hashtags. Does that also apply to Facebook in the same concept?
You can still search for hashtags on Facebook, but again, I don't know it very well, but Instagram, you can really do a deep dive and find out so much more about the hashtags. You can go in and you can see who has those hashtags. You can see different people with those hashtags. I feel like Facebook, I don't know that you can use hashtags like that. Does anybody else know the answer to that?
I think that on Facebook, if you click on a hashtag, it's similar to Instagram where you'll see other people using it, but I don't think that people use Facebook for that like they do on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I always copy and paste. I don't reinvent the wheel. I also have a lot of people that follow me on Instagram that I'm not friends with on Facebook. So I still use them, but I don't think it's helping me gain followers or get any traction, if that makes sense.
So tonight I'm going to do a post about really excited to get a chance to talk on a team call and talk about this, and also ask if anybody's ever thrown their kids' art out and they've dug it out of the trash and asked you who threw it away. Because I'm talking about my business. I'm talking about this. And I'm also asking people, please tell me that I'm not the only embarrassed parent that just did that. Right?
It was Rufus.
All the time. All the time.
Sometimes it's just pulling that kind of stuff out, right? Like some things we don't even think about.
Yeah. We got a little like cute suitcase from Hobby Lobby that we put in the corner, and we told the kids, pick your favorite art pieces and put it in there. And then when it gets filled up, we put it in a box and like put it away.
That's so smart.
Because like the volume of paper that I don't understand. Like in the same rate that the dryer loses socks, we gain pieces of art. So I don't get it. And that's what we do. We just have a box and we have them put it in it. So it's like not cluttering up my whole house. It's contained and they're happy about it. And then I just throw it away later unless it's really cute. And then I keep those.
I love it. Does anybody have any questions or anything else you want to talk about? I know we've got like 10 more minutes if anybody else. Did you guys get anything out of this? Hopefully.
Yeah,
this is great.
Really good.
I just like when people like give legit concrete examples versus like high in the sky, strategic, like what are they talking about? Awesome. All right. Any questions or anything?
No, thanks, Julie.
All right, guys. Well, it looks Brooke probably had to jump off. I don't know. I think she recorded it. So we'll see if she can post the recording.
Yeah,
for anybody.
It's just her picture.
Oh, got it. Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, ladies. So good to see you all.
Thanks, Julie.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
How do I get out?